Good afternoon. I hope you guys are having a great Sunday afternoon. It is absolutely gorgeous outside. I want to take the time to talk to single parents, in particular, single moms, single dads, about something that a lot of people won't talk about. um, the Bible, gosh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Got it stuck on my sweater. The Bible talks about the older women teaching the young women um, some things. Love their husbands, take care of their kids, or what have you. I also believe that that can be taken in the context of teaching single parents on some strategies on how to stay out of the system. Um, we all know that the system, whether you want to call it the criminal justice system, the family restoration system, better known as child protection services, health and human services, depending on where you live, or any a variety of different human services and justice systems that are in place that seem to be and that are in a lot of ways oppressive. Um, I want to tell you some ways that you can keep your family together. A lot of people in church want to just talk about the easy things. Want to teach you how to have church, teach you how to hook 'em a shy, speak in tongues, how to teach your kids how to act in church and to participate in different church activities, and teach the women how to be chaste and holy and put the scarves over your knees and over your breasts to try to keep everything, make everybody think that you're okay. But then they go home and they're faced with the reality of a lot of different things that may be going on in their homes and in their lives, and they don't know how to deal with it because nobody's telling them what to do. Now I know we live in a day and a time where I'm grown and I'm do what I want to do and I don't need nobody to tell me nothing. But see, that's what's wrong with a lot of young people is that they'd rather go through some things and not learn from their elders and learn from even the mistakes of their elders, and they rather, well, let me learn on my own. I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. That's the most dumbest, foolish thing I've ever heard in my life. I wish that there were somebody like me that was in my life 20, 30 years ago that would have sat down and talked to me, say, Winona, this is what you want to do. Winona, this is how you want to handle this. This is A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. I didn't have that. So the things that I've learned and the wisdom I'm about to share with you, I had to learn the hard way. So listen up, unless you want to go through some things that's going to take you 5, 10, 20 years to go through. And then you'll be sitting back and before you know it, you'd have blinked your eyes and your kids are grown and they done went through and you done went through. And you didn't have to go through none of that stuff had you listened to Winona in the first place. So I hope you're listening because I'm going to help you out if you ain't know already. Child Protection Services is not your enemy. Okay? Child Protection Services is there because there are some parents out there that do not love their children, do not care about their children, and they abuse and or neglect their children. But we know that there are some glitches in the system. Yes, the system can be racially imbalanced. Yes, it can be based upon classism. Somewhat. But there are ways that you can keep your family together. If you listen to me. Number one thing you do not want to do is you do not want to become an addict. Okay? Um Addicts, whether you're addicted to drugs, alcohol, or whatever, addiction will ruin your life. Addiction will tear up your families. The system will take your children. And it doesn't mean that the system is bad. It means that you're not in a position to take care of your kids. Um, don't get addicted. If you do get addicted, go through the necessary procedures, go through rehab, go through detox, go through rehab, go to counseling, get yourself taken care of. Do what they say to do, and you'll get your kids back. It's as simple as that. The whole agenda of Child Protection Services is there is a push towards family restoration. They don't want to take kids out of the families because they realize that the kids fare best in their families with their own parents. That is the agenda of Child Protection Services. They're not out to come and get your kids. They don't want to just grab all the little kids and put them in the system and put them in foster care. That is a lie. Okay? I've had experiences. I had to have temporary custody as well as guardianship of two of my grandchildren. Plus, I've had other experiences with Child Protection Services, and they've all worked out in my favor. I've got much support and help, and they begged me to become a foster parent. I just said no. I'm just not. I'm not set up for that right now. But my heart is towards children, and so I could tell you that they're not out to tear up black families. They're not out to take all the little black children and put them in the state custody. They want the children to be with their moms and their dads, but the moms and the dads got to do what they got to do to take care of your kids. If another thing that you don't want to do is if somebody, whether it's a teacher, whether it's somebody at your church, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's a family member, whether it's anybody, a doctor, a medical professional, they notice that there is a trend of abusive, you have a string of abusive relationships that you always in and you always constantly having to get out of those abusive relationships, that's a red flag for them. And eventually somebody's going to call the state on you. So, there are a lot of people who are mandated reporters. I don't know if you know, preachers are mandated reporters. Doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, mandated reporters. Teachers, principals, and school administrators, mandated reporters. I don't know if you know what mandated reporters mean, but it means that, hey, they are sanctioned by law. They are required by law. If they see something where a child is being neglected or abused, they are required by law to report all instances, allegations, or even suspicions of abuse or neglect. Because if it comes out in the wash that they did not report it, if something happens, they get in trouble. They can lose their license or they can serve jail time. So they are mandated by law to report you. Nobody's out to get you. Nobody want your kids. Okay? You need to do what you need to do. If you find yourself always in a string of abusive relationships, that does not mean that all men are bad. That means there's something wrong with you. You keep attracting the same kind of Negro who keeps beating on you, who keeps threatening you, who keeps abusing you. And you need to sit back. Don't get into more relationships after you get out of this one. You need to go to therapy. You need to go to counseling. You need to take a long sabbatical from relationships and find out what is it in me that keeps attracting the wrong kind of person in my life. Because now I'm putting my children at risk. I promise you, I'm telling you, I've been in a domestic violence shelter. I've seen the people come in there. Yeah, people think, oh, they're domestic violence victims, and they're trying the best that they can to get out of a bad situation. They wouldn't take their kids from them. I'm telling you, I've been in a domestic violence shelter, and I've seen the state come and take the kids out of the domestic violence shelter from the woman that was fleeing the abusive relationship. Why? Because it was the fifth abusive relationship she was in, and she had been in that shelter before. Don't think they don't keep files on you. Yes, they do. So those domestic violence workers at the shelters, mandated reporters. Oh, if everybody's a mandated reporter, then what I'm going to do? You're going to do what's right. If you find yourself, if the last 3 relationships that you've been in were abusive, sister, it's not them, it's you. You need to get some help. Stop. Close your legs. There's no penis that's that good enough. Okay? Go get some help. Go find out what's wrong with you. because you keep attracting the same kind of Negro. Get healed so that you can attract the right type of person in your life and in the lives of your children if you want your kids. Now, if you don't want your kids and penis is more important and what you want is more important than the safety and the well being of your children, then keep doing it. Keep on. They will come and get your babies in the domestic violence shelter. How I got my grandson? Baby mama was in the shelter. Huh? Guess what? Boom. They called me. Because otherwise, my grandson was going to state. So I'm telling you what I know. This ain't what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. And the thing is, I told her, I said, hey, if you don't stop this, the behaviors that she was doing, if you don't stop this, they're going to come get this baby. I didn't have to call nobody. And I said, look, I don't want to raise nobody else's kids. I want to see their kids with their moms and their dads where they belong. Now, I will intervene and I will help. But you got to do what you got to do. You have to do what you got to do. So, number one, don't get addicted. If you are addicted, get some help and stay clean and do what they say to do, and you'll have your kids. Number two, stay out of abusive relationships, or they will come and get your kids, whether you are a victim or not. They see a pattern that's not good that's not a good, safe, whole, healthy environment for a child to dwell in. They will come get your kids. Number three, keep drug paraphernalia out of your house, especially if they are already investigating you. That includes weed. Weed is still illegal. And if they find weed, they could come get your kids. Well, no, I'm not just saying this. I'm telling you what I know. We have to teach the young people that having babies and raising children is more than just having these babies and they're beautiful and they're angelic and they're so beautiful to behold. And you get them an Instagram page and take all these pictures and dress them up real pretty and cute. It's more than just teaching them how to change the diaper. It teaches them what to eat. It teaches them how to make the baby not be fussy. It teaches the baby how to potty train. No, it's more than that. It's, hey, okay, we are living in a day and a time, and there are systems set in place that could tear your family apart. But you can keep your family together if you do what I tell you to do. I did it. God on my side, I did. And I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm not being mean in any shape or fashion or shape or form. I'm time out for all this. Oh, we want to teach people how to have church, to teach the kids how to have church, but we don't want to tell these young people how to stay out the system. We don't want to tell these young people how to keep their families together. We don't want to tell these young people real deal issues. And it's time out for that foolishness. Okay? So I'm just sharing some wisdom. You can take it or leave it. I'm just trying to help you out. But every time I've said it, it's come to pass. Not because I wanted to come to pass, but I'm just trying to help people out. You know, because then everybody will say it's the man. No, sometimes it's our lack of wisdom. It's our foolish decisions. Okay? When you have children, it is no longer about what you want. It is doing what is best for that child. I made my mistakes. That's how I can sit here and tell you. So hopefully it won't take 10 years, 20 years. Your kids going through hell like my kids went through hell. You listen to what I gotta say, you keep your family together, you keep your kids safe, and they won't go through. You won't go through. Now, you can take my advice or you can leave it. But I'm just trying to help you out. How to keep your kids out of the system and keep your families together. Y'all have a great Sunday. Smooches.